oh my God, when I'm a grown up, I'm going to do all of these cool things and go to all of these cool places. It's going to be crazy.
Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Phillip.
And we teach you what you need to know about your personal finances using words you can understand without boring you to death.
Because adulting shouldn't suck. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and in the comments below, let us know why you haven't started a budget yet.
In this video, we're going to talk about different ways you can budget in your 20s, because if you have dreams of doing cool stuff, you're going to need a budget.
Man, when did you make your first budget?
We being honest here?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Probably when I got married.
When was
to be
that?
honest. I was like 25.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Well,
How'd you make your first budget?
my wife cut me off. All my spending habits literally made me pay off all my credit cards, cut them up, and only buy things in cash that I could afford and live within how much money I was making, because I was good at making money, but I was better at spending it.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel that. Yeah. I was probably like 27 when I made my first budget. Yeah. It was pretty rough. I had to like print out all my bank statements and like go through them line by line and like color them, like, okay, rent was this, well, mortgage was this, gas was this, car payment was this, tally it all up, and then all the other color-coded ones, all the coffee that I was getting and the video games or whatever silly shit I was buying.
Dude, that was the worst. So I used to go through and print up all my bank statements, color code all the different things, and then it would take, I don't know, hour, 2 hours, depending on how much crap you buy, right, or spend your money on, and then you have to add it all up, and it's miserable. That's why most people don't do it.
Yeah, I wasn't like broke, so I didn't feel like I really needed to budget, but I was good enough to where I could like spend and still pay my bills. But
oh no, I was broke before that.
Oh,
so my wife owned a business, so she was good at budgeting. I was not good at budgeting, so when we got married, she turned that around real quick.
Yeah, I didn't have a woman to tell me to be a grown up, so I just kind of I was like, oh, sounds like a good idea. I want to do that now. Huh.
Yeah, it's amazing though once you have a budget, how much more money you have left over typically than if you're just spending your money, paying your bills, and hoping for the best.
So after you made your budget, right, your first time making your budget, how long did it take for you to fall off the wagon?
Probably 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Because I didn't keep going back to it and making it relevant. I just made a budget that sounded great and then stick to it for a month or two and then get sidetracked because it wasn't relevant. Like it wasn't realistic.
I stuck to mine for like a year, right? But I did my budget a little bit differently. I had like my money get deposited into my bills account, and then I had money deposited into my spending account, and then I had money deposited into like my travel account and holiday account, right? So like I literally could just touch it and leave it because my pay didn't change and neither did my bills. But then finally, I looked at my bank account and I had a shit ton of money in there and I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy something shiny. So I did. Yeah.
No, that's good. A year? That's really
yeah.
good for like the first time you set a budget. It was a learning experience for us. Every time we had to like switch it up, make a budget, see if we could actually stick to it. Stick to it for a few more months.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work, and then just had to keep refining it until we figured out what actually worked for our family.
Yeah. That's what ended up taking me off, the wagon was I did something. I bought something, maybe a car or something. I bought something that was too expensive to keep doing what I was doing, and then I didn't just go and change it. I just let it go, and then I was just like, I guess we're done here. I never fixed it. Yeah. Okay, we get it. Enough about us, right? But starting to budget at an early age it's a great idea for anybody, and it can save you from a lot of headaches in the future.
That's true. Not just headaches. Budgeting can actually help you achieve your financial goals and stay out of debt, because starting out your adult life in debt, it sucks. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nobody likes being in debt and being under all that stress.
Yeah. Debt can take you years to pay off, like years. Okay. And even if you don't have any financial goals, spending money and saving money, it's important, right? It can help you have a better adult life, like buying a house or getting that job that requires you to have good credit, all that type of stuff.
And not everybody's, ready. Whoever's watching this might not be ready to buy a house right now or think that like, hey, retirement's for old people. But that stuff comes a lot sooner than you think.
It does.
If you're 20 and you don't really think about wanting to buy a house till you're 25 or 30, well, it goes by quick.
Yeah. Even if you don't want to buy a house or you're not thinking about retiring, right? Budgeting is going to help you, get a savings account, get an emergency fund, which is different than a savings account, and save for anything else, like maybe a new car or some furniture or moving out of your parents' house or moving into a bigger house, whatever. Maybe one day you want to get married, right? Nobody wants to marry a bum.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Regardless of how much money you make each month, we think it's equally important to track how much money you spend each month.
Because if you don't know how much money you spend, you're going to have a hard time making a budget.
Absolutely.
So you got to know how much is going out, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's way easier to track your spending if you're using a debit card to pay for all of your expenses versus cash, because with a debit card, it's all going to be in your transaction history on your bank account statement.
Yep. So all you got to do if you're using your debit card or your bank account to pay your bills, right? It's simple, kind of, okay? It's going to take some work, but, nothing comes easy. But what you're going to want to do, you're going to print out at least the last 3 months of your bank statements, all right? You're going to want to get some handy dandy highlighters, some different colors, and you're going to want to start color coding your expenses for the last 3 months.
Like I said, it's going to take some time, but you're going to go through with one color and you're going to color code all of your must-haves that you have to pay every single month, like rent, car insurance, your phone bill, stuff like that, right? So that's all going to be one color that you're going to tally up. And then all of your wants, you're going to color code a different color. So eating out, getting coffees, whatever it is you do for a hobby, that's going to be a separate color. So then you know how much you have for your fixed expenses, your monthly bills, and how much you pay for all the stuff that you want, right? That you don't necessarily have to have, but you still spend money on.
Yep. So if you're not using a bank or a debit card to track your stuff and you're just using, cash, it's going to be a little bit harder for you. You're going to have to write all of this stuff down to the best of your knowledge in like a notebook, and you're going to have to tally it up. The bad thing about this is you're going to forget about some expenses, and the least accurate your budget is, the less likely you're going to be to stick to it. All right, so keep that in mind.
Okay, so once you've gone through and color coded both your needs and your wants, you're going to tally it up, and then hopefully, you're making more money than what's going out in expenses. Because if you're not, you got a problem, right? Either you're not paying bills or you're putting on credit cards to pay your bills, and that's bad.
Super bad. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the first method to budgeting, which is called the 50-30-20 rule. This is where 50% of your budget is going to be used on those needs, right? Those fixed expenses that don't change every single month. Those are the things that you have to pay, like your rent, the car payment, that type of stuff that we were talking about, right? 30% of your budget, okay, is going to go to those variable expenses, right? The ones that change, the ones that you spend on like coffee, your dining out, your fun stuff. And then the 20, that's going to be what you're using to pay off debt or hopefully saving every single month.
Yeah, it's way better to put that money into a savings than paying off debt. So now you're going to, if you have debt, go through and tally up how much debt you have with a different color, right? How much money you're putting towards student loans or credit card payments, or did you rent some furniture, right?
Yeah.
One of those rent-a-centers? Are you making payments on that? So how much debt do you owe? Tally all that up in a different color, and now that's going to be another amount that you have to actually add into your budget.
Yeah, because if you didn't notice, you just did the first two steps of the 50-30, right? 20 rule. So now you're just doing that 20 part, you know? So even if you're not, trying to use the 50-30-20 rule, that's a great baseline for any sort of budget. It's telling you how much money you should spend on what type of bills every single month. So even if you're not using it, it's still a great baseline for you. So shouldn't spend 50%, shouldn't spend more than 50% of your budget on this stuff. Shouldn't spend more than 30% on this stuff. And then the 20% for debt or savings. You just got to be responsible with it and stay within those guidelines. You don't want to have it be, 60% here and 30% here and 10% there, or 40% here and 40% there and 20% there, right? Right.
So once you figure out how much money you're spending, now you got to track it. And tracking it isn't going to be the same for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. So, there's different apps out there you can use. There's spreadsheets. You can tally it up by hand, all kinds of different things. But you got to find the one that's right for you. And sometimes it doesn't work out immediately. Like we were saying, it took me numerous times to to figure out what type of tracking my budget actually worked for us. And I had to redo it multiple times, 3, 4, 5 times. And then even now, I still have to redo my budget every now and then, just to make sure I'm staying on track to what I actually want to achieve.
Yeah. The important thing is that you're trying to start a budget, right? I mean, that's the high five number one for you. But if you wanted to use an app, there's plenty of apps out there. One of the most popular ones is called Mint.
It's good.
It's in the App Store. We both use it. It's free, right? All you got to do is link up your bank account, link up your debit card, and any other accounts that you might have, like a credit card account or another bank account. You link those up. Anytime you swipe your card, or have an automatic payment come out of your bank account, the money's going to get categorized in an expense, and it's going to get tracked. The phone will give you notifications and let you know like when you're going over budget, and it'll also let you adjust how much budget or how much money you can spend in a particular area of your budget. So, I mean, it's super user-friendly. If using an app's a thing for you, check it out.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I hated doing the color coding, right? It took me so long to go through and color code every single thing I did and then tally it up and then figure out what my budget was. And that's why a lot of people don't stick to their budgets. I mean, let's be honest, people, we're gonna take the path of least resistance, right? So we're gonna be lazy if we can be lazy. And that's why a lot of people just don't have a budget. Yeah. It doesn't really work out too well for them. But this Mint app, it does all that for you, right? So all you gotta do is log in and boom, you see exactly where you're at with how much you spent on groceries or eating out or getting coffee or whatever. So I love it.
It's real bad. I mean, you'll be super surprised how much money you're actually spending on like certain things after you sit down and track your budget. I mean, you'll be like, oh, how did I spend $500 on coffee this month?
Because you're a caffeine fiend. But hey, if an app isn't your thing, you can always do it the old school way, and you can use a spreadsheet or you can use a cash envelope system. I mean, there's lots of different ways you can do it.
Yeah. What's that cash envelope system? What is that?
Oh, yeah. So it works. That's a great way for a lot of other people too. So if you have a swipey swipe problem and you don't really care how many times you swipe and spend your money with a credit card or a debit card, then a cash envelope system might be good for you. So when you spend cash, right, there's more of like an emotional connection to handing over a $100 bill and breaking that for something than there is just swiping your debit card for it.
It's great for holidays too, by the way, this method he's talking about.
Yeah, some people love it, but I've never really had any success with it, but I know lots of people who have. So the cash envelope system, what it is you're gonna put, I don't know, let's say $500 a month in a cash envelope for groceries, right? I don't know, maybe that's more than you eat, but I'm a big boy, I eat a lot of food. So anyways, you put $500 in there, and once it's gone, right? So you get to manage it based on how much money is actually left in that envelope. Or maybe you put away, I don't know, say $100 for entertainment, right? So then you can't spend more than that $100 because once it's gone, you're not allowed to spend after that. So for a lot of people, that's better to limit yourself rather than saying I'm only going to spend $100, but then you got that debit card. It's real easy to swipe.
But I mean, that's our tips and tricks, right? The longer you spend trying to build your budget, the more likely you are to stick to it. So sit down, spend some time with it, get it done, and make yourself a budget. It's important.
Yeah, real important.
Yeah. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Like actually subscribe. Click on the little bell, check out our weekly videos. They're awesome. And in the comments below, let us know how much money you spent on coffee after you checked, your expenses for the last 3 months.
Yeah, mine was bad.
Yeah, mine too.
Hey, share this video with your friends too, because I'm sure they need to know how to budget, and it's just going to help everybody.
Yeah!